I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shit on my greed. That's how I get it, success ain't no given. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous, down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank, I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze, the roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag, I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag, I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket, Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit, nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch how I get it here, watch how I get it here, watch how I get it here. Woo!
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
We are muted on the last live stream of the year, and okay, we're back now. All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the last live stream of the year, UFC Vegas 66. We have 13 fights to talk about. We're going to be talking some betting, some DraftKings, a little bit of the weigh-ins as well. We did lose the Julian Marquez Darren Wynn fight, which kind of sucks. Was really looking forward to that one. But yeah, solid card to end the year. I do have 9 bets to end the year, 5.5 units, kind of a lightish card for me. Had a phenomenal week last week. Kind of wish I ended the year on last week because one of the best nights of the year. But maybe this one could be good as well. It's not my favorite betting card in the world, but should be a fun one. So before we get it started and get into everything, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Check me out on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always. And can't wait to talk about this card. Couple bets sticking out. I really like the card from a DraftKings perspective as well. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a fun way to end the year. Let us get into the chat before we get started. We got Buff on the B saying, Brady, I thought Cheyenne was going to be bigger than Corey. She looked smaller at faceoffs. Did I miss something? I thought Blissmus was supposed to have the size advantage. Do I need to get my eyes checked? On paper, they're both 5'3" on paper. I didn't really look into that weigh-ins for the matchup because I just have no action on the fight. But Blissmus is going to have a reach advantage, but I didn't see it really. Or I saw it, but didn't really look at it or pay attention. We got Uncle Weezy in the chat saying it's been a great 2022. Looking forward to crushing the bookies some more in 2023. Big ups, my man. Big ups to you, Uncle Weezy. You got a great year yourself. And yeah, 2023 is going to be a great year. I feel it. We got Paul in the chat saying abandon the ship, Buffo. Yeah, I have no action on that Blissmus fight myself. Propaholic saying, let's go, Brady. You crushed it this year, man. Time for one last card. You crushed it as well. Propaholic, you had a great year yourself. I believe it was the first year you started tracking. And yeah, you did good, man. So congrats to you. We got Mushroom in the chat saying lots of dogs barking tomorrow. Yeah, I could see it. He's saying McKenna, Green, Dvorak, Brundage, etc. I do like me some Bobby Green myself. And I could see, I kind of like Kopp. Brundage could win. I feel like Brundage could pull off the upset. Yeah, there's a lot of dogs. Zach saying Brian Battle, Bobby Green, McKenna. 3-headed dog bet. Yeah, I do like me some Brian Battle and some Bobby Green. Not touching the McKenna fight. We got Bond in the chat saying, yo, what is up? We got Raw Torque. Word up, Raw Torque. We got Jason in the chat saying, what's up, boys? We got Rob in the chat saying, what's up, brother? What's up, chat? Hopefully we see some violence the last card. That is always the goal, seeing some violence. Let's stay away from those crooked judges. Bill in the chat saying, thanks for always the great content over the years and for finding the great Wheezy. Appreciate you, Bill, for hanging out and the kind words there. We got Buffalo saying, let's get the party started. I agree. We got, damn it, Bobby saying, better move. Yes, sir. We got Carilla. What is up, Carilla? How you doing? Saying, I love you, Senior Dukes, and hopefully you and your lovely wife are doing well. We are both doing phenomenal. Hopefully you're doing well as well, Carrillo. We got Dan Goldstein in the chat talking some Pat Barry. And Corey McKenna. Hoffa Garcia by early sub is a must bet. Maheshate, tall, young, and missed weight. Yeah, I don't have much action, or I don't have any action on that fight myself, but I do lean the Garcia side. We got Dan in the chat saying, what's up, boys? Merry Blissmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to you. Dan Goldstein. We got Andy Bush saying, my dudes, what is up? See if I missed anything here. Who thought Patty would have won by decision? The judges thought that. The judges thought that, but that's about it. We got Aaron in the chat. What is up, Aaron? We got Jake in the chat as well. What is up? And Rafa looked tiny. Yeah, he did. And that was expected. Maheshate's freaking huge. But I say we get into it. It's going to be kind of a lighter show. I got somewhere to be in about 50 minutes. So going to try to rifle through this and just kind of touch on the fights I have the most action on. And the first fight of the night's not really one of them. We have Sergey Morozov going against Newson. And I like Morozov here, but man, the price, I don't know. Just wouldn't really feel comfortable putting this guy in a parlay, laying minus 340 on Morozov. I think he's a great fighter. I like him a lot. It's just the durability is kind of what concerns me. He's been knocked out before. He's been hurt a lot. Like, he's getting hurt in the majority of his fights. He's been submitted 3 times. He's going to get a black belt in Newson. But he should be able to go out here, win minutes on the mat, especially make some takedowns and win a decision here or potentially get a finish along the way. I like Morozov, but you won't see me laying minus 340 on this guy. From a DraftKings perspective, I don't mind some shots on Morozov at 9,300 just because of the wrestling upside. And then as far as a pump play goes, a dart throw, Journey Newson's not the worst look in the world just because of that durability of Sergey Morozov. So the pick is Sergey Morozov, but no bet for me on the first fight of the night. Maheshate fight still on. Yes, it is. Morozov third round decision. Yeah, I saw the decision prop was like plus 155. Propaholic on the violence side of things. Yeah, that was kind of one that definitely did stick out in terms of the numbers for that violence. Both guys have been finished quite a bit. Both guys can finish. I don't hate a shot at that, especially at plus money. But yeah, nothing from me on this one. Card's looking pretty fun. I agree. I think it's a pretty solid card. Fade Newson. Journey looked like he was on coke at the weigh-ins. I like that. Hey, maybe it works out. Maybe it works out. Didn't work out for Molly McKenna last time out, but more often than not, it does work out. All right, we'll keep moving on. We have Kopp going against David Dvorak, and I do have my first bet of the night here. I wasn't going to touch this fight, but you have Kopp, who is minus 250. He's heavily favored to win this fight, and my thinking on this one is if he's going to win this fight, it is going to be inside the distance. I mean, the guy is, I think, 1-4 or 1-5 in decisions. He's not a minute winner. He barely throws anything, but when he does land, he lands very hard. He's a 94% finish rate for a flyweight. So instead of laying that minus 250 on Kopp, what I did do was I put a half a unit on Kopp at plus 145 to win inside the distance. If this fight does go to decision, I think Dvorak is extremely live in this matchup. And if you do like Dvorak, I would look at the Dvorak by decision prop. I would look at the Dvorak decision only prop. But I do find myself thinking Kopp eventually does find a finish at some point in this fight. What I will say about Kopp is, the last couple fights, he's kind of letting his hands go more. And when he is, he's hurting his opponents. He knocked out Ismagulov in the first round, knocked out Eddie Osborne in the first round. And if he comes out here aggressive, like, he can run through David Dvorak on the feet. So give me Kopp here. Kopp to win inside the distance, plus 145, half a unit. And I don't mind me some Kopp on DraftKings as well, just because of that finish upside. And I'm hoping he comes out here not entirely low volume like he was in the Pantoja fight and in the Nicolau fight. I hope he comes out here like he has been as of late, just letting those hands go. Because when he does, he's super, super dangerous. One of the most dangerous guys in the division at 125 pounds. So give me Kopp for the win. I think he finishes Dvorak at some point in this fight. Kopp has terrible fight IQ. Yeah, sometimes he definitely does. That's why I'm hoping he kind of lets his hands go. And yeah, if you do like Dvorak by decision's definitely the way to go. I don't see Dvorak finishing Kopp. And like I said, the decision only as well. What's the over-under on Dober's chin getting bigger? I don't know if it can get any bigger. I mean, that guy has a chin on him for sure. I have the fight starts round 2. Parlay with the fight doesn't go to decision. And the Brundage fight seems pretty safe to me. Kopp is super durable. Yes, he is. That's why I kind of lean. If there is a finish, it is on the Kopp side. This one is going to be the parlay record. I kind of disagree just because I don't think anybody's parlaying up Kopp this week. I think Matthews is going to be in a bunch of parlays. I think Albazi is going to be in a ton of parlays. Don't really see any Kopp love at all. So I think maybe even like Oleksiejczuk could be in some parlays. But yeah, I really have not seen much Kopp love, if at all. If anything, I see a lot of love on the dog there. So we shall see who let the dogs out tomorrow. We will see how many dogs pull it out. Hopefully the couple I'm on. All right, we'll keep moving on. We have Brian Battle going against Renat Focardinov. This is one where I really wanted to see the weigh-ins and was really happy with what I saw from Brian Battle. This is the second time he's cutting down to 170 pounds, and he looked really good. And he came in on short notice as well, which is interesting because he looked better this time around on the scales than he did against Takashi Sato. When he fought Takashi Sato, he looked horrible on the scale. So I was kind of expecting this guy to look bad. And if he was, I probably wouldn't be betting him in this matchup. But no, Bryan Battle looked very good. So the bet I have on this fight is going to be the Bryan Battle finish only, aka the scorecards no action, aka the decision no bet. On Bet Online, they have the scorecards no action at plus 120, but on FanDuel Sportsbook, they have the finish only, which on FanDuel they call it the decision no bet. They have it at plus 184, which is interesting because the way I see this fight playing out, I think Focardinov can absolutely win. I think there's a lot of holes in the game of Bryan Battle, whether it's the takedown defense, the striking defense. But I think if Focardinov does win the fight, it's going to be just kind of grinding him out, taking him down, wearing on him for 15 minutes. A big concern for Focardinov is the level of competition. I think he's fought maybe like 4 or 5 guys with winning records. Like he's fought some horrible guys. And even his debut, it was against a horrible guy in Andreas Michailidis, who was gassed out 3 minutes in and he still couldn't finish him. So honestly, if he finishes Bryan Battle, I'll be like, what the heck? You're finishing Bryan Battle, who's tough as nails, but you couldn't finish a gassed out Andreas Michailidis, who's been finished in all of his losses prior to that decision loss against Focardinov. So I think Focardinov by decision is absolutely on the table. But if you're telling me there's a finish in this fight, I kind of think it's on the Battle side. Battle's, like I said, he's super tough. He has a great chin, great durability, great cardio, and he's dangerous everywhere. He's going to have the striking advantage. He hits very hard, and he has that slick submission game as well. So at plus 184 for the finish only, I took a half unit shot on that one. From a DraftKings perspective, I like both sides here. I think Focardinov has takedown upside, control time upside, and in a decision win, I think he can score very well. And I think if Battle wins this fight, it's because he knocks out Focardinov. Maybe Focardinov does slow down as the fight goes on, and Bryan Battle catches him in something at some point, whether it's a sub, a knockout. So yeah, I think both sides are definitely in play here on DraftKings, but the bet I have is that finish only for Bryan Battle. I couldn't believe it was at plus 184, which is by far the best price out there across all the books. And even like the Battle inside the distance at plus 470, like, I mean, the guy's dangerous everywhere. So I don't know, but yeah, I like Battle to win the fight, but I could get why people are on the Focardinov side. He should be the minute winner in this fight with the wrestling, the takedowns, but give me the finish only for Bryan Battle. Battle inside the distance, he won't finish this guy. Yeah. I can't believe how juicy these Battle props are. I saw like that his submission prop is almost plus like 900. The knockout props like almost plus 900. I think they're decent. Brady for president 2024 is a little bit too young for that. Maybe one day. And then Disco saying maybe 95 to 100 points for Kopp and DK. Yeah, if he does end up on the optimal lineup, it's probably because he got a first round knockout, maybe a second round knockout. It's definitely possible. He hits very, very hard. Man, Bryan Battle looked like a decomposing dead man on the scales. I thought he looked good. Maybe it's because I was expecting like the worst. Maybe that's why I thought he looked so good, but I thought he looked much, much better than he did against Sato. Like against Sato, he looked atrocious. Not a bad look prop. Yeah, I don't hate it. What is up, George? How you doing? Ross saying Pooh Bear, in my opinion. Yeah, kind of on him myself. More likely an early or late finish. I would lean like late. I would lean a late finish. I think early on, Focardinov should have a lot of success taking down Bryan Battle at will. And you look at a lot of Bryan Battle's fights, he's losing a lot of these early rounds, and he probably loses this early round as well. Early thoughts on Shavkat versus Jeff Neal. I think Shavkat is the real deal. I think this is a good step up of competition. And he's like minus like 350, which is kind of wild, but lots of hype on the guy, and rightfully so. I think he does get past Jeff Neal, but I wouldn't be laying minus 350. I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Jeff Neal. Shavkat smash. Yeah, I think he gets it done. What is up, Andy? How you doing? I'm seeing many cappers parlaying Morozov plus Albazi plus Dober Green over 1.5, and I would kind of agree with all of those, but it's not something I would do myself. I'm trying to, this year I've done a really good job at staying away from the parlays, and man, it's paid off so much. Like there's so many of these big favorites that drop the ball week after week, and you just don't want to get into a habit of parlaying up all these big favorites. So yeah, not something I would do, but I'd say it hits. Goodness, Corey McKenna versus John Jones. I don't know about that one. Probaholic. I do not know about that one. I'm worried about Battle's minute winning ability. Going to stay away from this one. Yeah, me too. That is why I did get that finish only rather than going with the money line, because I could absolutely see a scenario where Battle does lose a decision. So I think that's kind of how I'm going to attack it there. All right, moving on. We have Rafa Garcia going against Maheshate. Maheshate, the only guy that missed weight. Man, this guy, that's unfair, man. I mean, this guy's already 6 foot. And then on top of that, the guy's missing weight. He's going to have a big size advantage. This fight sketches me out for just so many different reasons. Like, I think this should be Rafa Garcia all day, but, you know, there's not a ton of footage on Maheshate. You know, there's like 3 fights out there. And one of those fights, and this is kind of where I think it's a little bit of it could be a trap potentially. In one of those fights, he's fighting an 0-1 guy, and the 0-1 guy goes out there and just takes him down at will, like multiple takedowns, controls him for had to be over 14 minutes of a 15-minute fight. But and then you think about it, like that fight was back in 2019, so 2, 3, 4 years ago. It was a while ago, and Maheshate's only at this point 23 years old, so he was like 2019 at the time of that fight. So how much can we take into account of that fight that happened back in 2019, right? He's had to have made improvements there, but from what I've seen, his takedown defense does not look good. His get-up game does not look good. Rafa Garcia is going to go out there and he's going to wrestle. On the feet, you got to favor Maheshate. He's going to be much, much bigger. And we saw it at the weigh-ins. Like, Maheshate is just towering over Rafa Garcia. And the reason I can't get to Rafa Garcia is just because of the cardio. He has slowed down in the past. I will say his cardio has looked a little bit better, but just will never be able to get that Chris Grutzmacher fight out of my head where Rafa Garcia was super tired. At the end of the first round, he was tired. And on top of that, his control's not great either. So yes, he could probably get takedowns, but will he be able to hold down a much bigger Maheshate across 3 rounds? I was tempted in Rafa Garcia earlier in the week, but the line has kind of gotten away. He's like minus 140 now. So yeah, I can't touch this fight. I'm going to stay away. I think it's a solid fight for DraftKings just because I think Rafa Garcia has a lot of takedown upside. And Maheshate, if he wins, it's probably a knockout, honestly. But Rafa Garcia has never been knocked out, but Maheshate is going to be much bigger, and he does hit pretty hard. So, yeah, more so interested from a DraftKings standpoint, but from a betting standpoint, I'm just going to stay away from this one. Just kind of sketched out on it. Is there a non-0% chance Drew Dober and Green goes the distance? So are you saying there's a 0% chance it finishes? No. I think it could finish, but I think it's way more likely that it does not finish. I'm 100% certain. You should never be 100% certain in anything ever. But yeah, I don't want to say I'm confident, but I think Garcia does win as well. Another easy pass. I'm right there with you. Do you think Kopp can only win by KO, or do you think a decision's live? Like I said, Kopp's 1-4 or like 1-5 in decisions. The low volume side of things scares me. Dvorak maybe can mix in some takedowns. I'd be very worried if this fight went to decision for Kopp. The legend of Maheshate gets drowned. Round 2 or round 3. Yeah, potentially, man. Especially if he had a bad weight cut, right? So I could see it. I feel like Rafa's going to be winning until he gets KO'd. Live bet. Could see that as well. I don't know. Rafa's going to wrestle this kid. He should. I either see a money line to cap off my parlay last my week at plus 154. So you hit the other leg last week. There you go. So you have Garcia at plus 154. There you go. I like that. Maheshate's takedown defense is going to get tested. Takedowns galore for Garcia. Yeah, it's definitely going to get tested. We're going to see if he's made improvements or not. If not, Garcia is going to look like a massive favorite here. And then you got that round 2, round 3 sub prop at plus 1100. Goodness. Yeah, I could see it, man. Garcia is a really good grappler. I think he's finished about half his wins by sub. Who do you like more, Morozov or Jake Matthews? Betting standpoint, from a betting standpoint, to be honest, neither. Morozov. I guess I'd be more confident Morozov, but I would not be really parlaying either of those two. Best fighter to get a KO on Saturday. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk comes to mind. Jared Cannonier comes to mind. Those two. And then potentially Manel Kopp as well. I think those 3 are very live for knockouts. Got Lags in the chat. Brundage, Mikkel under 1.5 does not start round 3. Best props on the board. I'm glad to hear that, Lags, because I'm on both actually. So right there with you. So hopefully those do hit. My night pretty much depends on both those spots. 8 of Garcia's 13 wins are by submission. There you go. Do you think the people citing Mikkel over Cody are in for a loss? Potentially. We'll talk more about that fight, but the ground game of Mikkel definitely does scare me a tad. All right, we'll keep moving on. We have Syed Nurmagomedov going against Syed Yakub Kakhramonov. Yeah, no bet here for me on this one. It's one of those fights where I think the line is about, I think a pick'em's about right, because we have Syed Yakub Kakhramonov. The guy's gaining a lot of hype, and rightfully so. He's running through Ronnie Lawrence, taking him down like 10 times. Like, that performance really opened my eyes for him. And then obviously the Trevin Jones fight where he took it on short notice, was able to pull off the upset, showed that he had better cardio than Trevin Jones on short notice. Just a great performance there as well. But this is a step up. You know, Nurmagomedov has fought the better competition. He's fought guys like Hani Barcelos, guys like Cody Stamen. So it's going to be a test for Kakhramonov. But I think, like most people, I think, you know, I'm buying in on Kakhramonov. I think this guy's the real deal. He's only 27 years old, and although I think Syed Nurmagomedov is a very good fighter, I'm going to kind of lean the other way. But the line is like minus 120 at this point. You know, I don't know. I don't feel great about it. He was a dog. I wouldn't hate a shot at Kakhramonov as a dog potentially, but even then, it's kind of a fight I just want to stay away from, really, from all aspects. On DraftKings, I do like some Kakhramonov. That's where I'm gonna get my exposure here at 8,000, just due to the fact that I think he has wrestling upside. I mean, the guy went out there and got 10 takedowns his last fight against Ronnie Lawrence, and I think the path to victory for Kakhramonov is going to be to mix in the takedowns here. And he obviously has the ability to go out there and get a ton of takedowns. And I think those could definitely add up. And at 8,000, I don't mind a shot at that. So I do have some Kakhramonov on DraftKings, a decent bit there. But from a betting perspective, going to sit back and watch this one. I think it's one of the better fights on the entire card. And it's on the prelims for some reason. Like, it makes no sense. Like, I think this is like the second highest level fight on the entire card. Like, this fight is very high level. Two guys that are legit. And I think Kakhramonov is somebody to definitely look out for in the division at only 27 years old. So give me Kakhramonov as far as a pick, but I can't bet this one. Give us a 2-fold parlay. Remind me towards the end. But yeah, like I said, I don't have any parlays this week myself, at least tracked. Kakhramonov, 3rd round decision. I'm kind of leaning the decision prop myself, Mushroom. I don't see Brundage surviving 15 minutes with Mikkel unless he gets a sub early. 100% with you there. I like that Shroom. I said Syed Yakub at slight plus money. I think he finishes. You think he gets to finish there? Yeah, I kind of missed out on the plus money myself, and now the line's kind of getting away a little bit. I think Nurmagomedov surprises people here, potentially. A lot of people are on Kakhramonov. This line isn't moving much. I like Garcia, Arosa, Cannonier, parlay, plus 400. I agree with all of those. Hope for takedowns or passing. I'm hoping for some takedowns on DraftKings. Colby on that Garcia by sub. Yeah, what is that Garcia by sub? Is it something good? Let's see. Garcia by sub is, oh goodness, I wish I would have got a better price. It's plus 600. Best price. Brady, anyone on the card that could be an optimal even if they lose? I don't really think so on this card, to be honest. Nothing's really sticking out. I mean, maybe like Bobby Green. I could see a scenario where Bobby Green lands 1,000,000 strikes, gets robbed by the judges, and puts up a very good score at 7,600. Like, maybe Bobby Green, just because the volume is insane from him. But other than that, nothing really sticking out. Good fight to target for sure. What are your top 3 moneyline picks? Yeah, no moneyline bets for me this week, but I was tempted on Bobby Green as a dog. I was tempted on Rafa Garcia as a dog, as a slight favorite, and then I was also tempted on Julian Marquez, but that fight got canceled. But those were kind of 3 moneyline bets I was kind of looking at, and Brian Battle was also another moneyline bet, but I did play it in a different way. Oh no, George, that Marquez fight got canceled a while ago, like a couple days ago. Deron Wynn supposedly like fainted and fell down the stairs, hit his head, neck, and Deron Wynn is out, which kind of sucks. I was really looking forward to that fight. But we shall move on. We have Jake Matthews going against Matt Semelsberger. And I took a shot on violence here. I was able to get in on the violence pretty early this week. I have a half unit on at plus 150. That line has came down throughout the week. It's around plus 110. I still don't hate it at plus money. I just think both guys have a path to finish here. I think Jake Matthews, if he shows up and looks anything like he did in his last fight against Fiallo, he's very likely to knock out Matt Semelsberger. But I think a better path to victory for Jake Matthews here is going to be the takedown route, the submission route. I think Matthew Semelsberger has a huge hole in his game in the submission defense. He's been submitted before. AJ Fletcher was able to take this guy down, get into very dominant positions. And, Fletcher wasn't able to finish this guy, but Matthews is a black belt in BJJ. He has multiple subs on his record in the UFC. So I think Matthews, if he takes his fight down to the mat, his sub is super, super live here. And then on the flip side, if Matt Semelsberger is able to pull off the upset, I think it's a knockout. I don't see him winning a decision here against Jake Matthews. Matt Semelsberger has a ton of power. We have seen Jake Matthews hurt a ton in the UFC. We've seen him finished a lot in the UFC as well. So I kind of like violence here. I do lean towards Jake Matthews getting it done, whether it is by knockout, whether it is by submission, or whether it's even a decision. I like Jake Matthews to get it done, but Matthew Semelsberger, he hits like a truck. And I guess it all comes down to how Jake Matthews attacks this fight. Is Jake Matthews going to go out there and stand and bang with Semelsberger? If he does that, it could end very bad with him. But if Jake Matthews takes the path to least resistance, I think he subs this guy. So yeah, I do like me some Jake Matthews. But more specifically, that fight doesn't get the decision. I think it kind of covers both sides there. From a DraftKings perspective, 9,200 on Matthews. I don't know if I really like that. I think there's better plays I like up there. Like you got Albazi up there. You got Oleksiejczuk up there. You even got Morozov and Kopp. So I don't know if I'm going to get to a ton of Matthews. Semelsberger, I don't mind as far as a pump play, just because I think if he does win, it is by knockout. He does hit very, very hard. So I think from a DraftKings perspective, it would be more towards Semelsberger just due to the price tag and the knockout upside. But I do like violence here, and I have a half a unit on at plus 150. Deron Wynn KO'd himself to save Marquez the trouble. Yeah, I thought Marquez was going to destroy him. So that kind of sucks, but yeah, exactly. Get some help, Deron Wynn. Matthew should not stand with Semi if he wants to win. I agree 100%. Semelsberger scares me with his power. I could not agree more. Oh yeah, this says violence all over, under 2.5. Matthews KO, under 1.5 if you are feeling bold. Got a lot of options here. I'm right there with you, Andy. I like that. I like the violence here. Propaholic on that fight to end by KO. I could definitely see it. Shocked by how big Brundage looked. Yeah, it did look pretty big. I imagine Deron Wynn falling down the stairs comically like Peter Griffin. I could see that as well. But yeah, man, poor guy. Like poor Deron Wynn. He's had a rough go, and then that happened. Unbelievable. So hopefully we get to see that fight early in January. All right, we'll keep moving on. Blissmus, McKenna. Yeah, not much to say here. I don't bet on fights like these anymore, and not betting on fights like these, my results have went up throughout the year. So really not much to say. I mean, from a DraftKings perspective, we can talk about it a little bit. It would be the McKenna side for me. I think if she does pull off the upset here, it's going to be takedowns. It's going to be control time. And I don't think anybody's going to play McKenna this week. So McKenna for me on DraftKings, not going to touch Blissmus at all, really. And then no really interest from a betting perspective. Just not much to say here. Pretty easy pass spot for me. But yeah, McKenna on DraftKings at 7,200 does not look like the worst play in the world for that upside there. Who had the manlier man bun, Jake or Semi? Probably Semi. Hey, Brady, it's my birthday on Saturday. There you go. Can you and Uncle Weezy give me a happy birthday? Thanks. Happy birthday. Gonna butcher your name, but happy birthday, Ben Cord Sing. Happy birthday, man. McKenna via sub. Cheyenne is going to get caught slipping. Yeah, if McKenna can get the fight down to the mat, she's a very good grappler. I can't trust McKenna ever again after the stunt she pulled against Elise Reed. Semi is extremely durable. I do agree with that. Has been knocked out before, but he's a very durable guy. Cheyenne had a look of total satisfaction on her face. Can't talk about that situation. What fights are we down to? Anyone? We're down to 13 fights. 13 fights. But yeah, let's just move on. Cannoneer, Arosa, locks. I think they both win, but I don't know about a lock. But we'll move on to my main event of the night. It's because I have the most action on this fight. I have 5.5 units on this card, and 2 units come on this fight. So the first bet I have is the under 1.5 rounds. I got it at -115. I put a unit on that. And then I have the fight won't start round 3 at -170, and I put a unit on that. So 2 units total on some violence here. I think somebody does get finished early. I think this fight's going to be an absolute car crash. Oleksiejczuk, he's going to come forward. He's going to pressure. He's going to land big shots. I think he has a striking advantage here on Cody Brundage, who has been hurt a lot. He's been knocked out before. So I think Oleksiejczuk's very, very live for the first round knockout. On the flip side, I think Brundage is live for an early finish in his own right, just due to the fact that when we have seen Oleksiejczuk taken down, he looks like a complete fish out of water on the mat. We saw Jimmy Crute take him down 7-8 times, submit him. And we saw OSP take him down, submit him shortly after. And, Brundage is dangerous on the mat. He's able to get in dominant positions, has good ground and pound, a slick submission game. He's finished all but one of his wins in his own right. So, yeah, I think violence is the way to go here. I'm going to lean towards Oleksiejczuk being the one getting that first round finish. But if Brundage does get on top, Oleksiejczuk does not look good on bottom. He looks very uncomfortable. He panics, and I could definitely see Brundage pulling off the upset. But either way, I think somebody gets finished here early. I think it happens under 1.5 rounds. I even think it probably happens in the first round, just with stylistically and how both these guys fight. So give me violence here. My favorite violence spot on the card, under 1.5. Fight won't start round 3. 2 units total on those. For those wondering, I'm sure somebody's going to ask, what does fight won't start round 3 mean? It means fight won't start round 3. It means that the fight ended in the first 2 rounds. So always have somebody ask that question. We got MMA Jesus in the chat. We got Dev. What is up, Dev? How you doing? Brundage solved the big upset. What's up, Brady? Loving the hair this week. Yeah, it's a bad hair day, man. Maybe when we come back in January, I'll be all trimmed up by then. It's been a while since I've got a haircut. Lax saying 3.5 total on those 2 for me. I love it. My favorite spots on the card. I don't think Brundage can replicate what Crute did. I think he could potentially. We saw OSP take him down and submit him easily. But yeah, like you're saying, I think Oleksiejczuk is more likely to find the finish. I've got a nice free roll on a friend of the show, Cody Brundage. Yeah, Uncle Weezy and Lou Betcha did an interview with Cody Brundage, and Cody's prediction for the fight was a first or second round submission for what it's worth, which I love to hear. Love to hear that. Fight doesn't start round 3 is an IQ test. I hope so. Battle wins by sub. I hope so. Can't complain. Beautiful day. Where are you at? Where's it a beautiful day where you're at, Dev? It's freaking cold where I'm at, like 20 degrees. Brady, would you mind getting splashed with some blood if you were cage side at some fights? I guess it all depends, like what my plans were after. If I had to change of clothes, I don't know. Probably would prefer not to, but wouldn't be the end of the world if I did. All right. Let's get into the next fight. We have Drew Dober going against Bobby Green, and I do have 2 bets here, some small sprinkles. The first bet is going to be fight ends in split decision, plus 500 on DraftKings. I put a quarter unit on that. We'll talk about why. And also have a quarter unit on Bobby Green wins by decision at plus 230 on FanDuel. So I'm like 0 for 6 on these split decision props. I would love to hit one to end the year. Like just end the year hitting one of these split decision props, because this is a fight where it makes a lot of sense. Both guys are just next level durable. Bobby Green's only been knocked out like once. I know we got TKO'd by Maheshate, but it's Maheshate. But he got knocked out once outside of that. And the dude has 33, 34 fights. Bobby Green is very durable. On the flip side, there's nobody more durable than Drew Dober. I mean, nobody's knocking out Drew Dober unless you bring a metal baseball bat, a steel chair, and even then, you're probably not finishing this guy. He'll probably break the chair with his chin, and he'll break the bat with his chin. So I don't really see a finish here, to be honest. I think this fight goes to decision, and this is why I don't want to get too invested in this fight. I think it goes to decision. I think it's competitive. I think Bobby Green's going to outland Drew Dober in every single round in terms of the numbers. Bobby Green's volume is insane. He was able to even outland Rafael Fiziev in every single round. I think he outlands Dober in every single round. It's just Drew Dober is going to be landing the bigger shots. So it's going to go to decision, and it's going to be up to the crooked judges to get it right, and they're probably not going to. So that's kind of why I'm only going a quarter unit on the green decision prop at plus 230, because I could easily see a scenario where the judges do favor the couple big shots over all the volume Bobby Green does and potential takedowns as well. And then I think splits on the table as well. I think, a judge or two could score the fight for Dober just based off of damage, the big shots. And I think a judge or two could score it for Green just based off of the volume, the takedowns that Green's going to land here. So should be a close fight. But yeah, I do like Bobby Green here. It's just in a fight where it's going to decision, it's kind of terrifying to bet on fights like that, especially fights that are going to be close, because it is going to be up to those crooked judges. So quarter unit Bobby Green decision, quarter unit split decision, hoping to hit the split to end the year would be nice, man. It'd be very nice, because have not been able to hit one yet. Not been able to hit a split decision prop yet. Sean saying the way Oleksiejczuk came out against Alvi isn't the way he usually fights. I wonder if he comes out like that here. Well, I recommend taking a second look at some of this guy's fight tape. I can pull it up. So let's see Oleksiejczuk. He usually fights. There was one fight where he did not fight like a complete madman. So he went out there and fought like a complete madman against OSP in the first round. Almost got him out of there in the first round, borderline 10-8. He went out there and again like a madman against Gimarad Antigulov, knocked him down 3 times. He went out there like a madman against Jean Vellante. Went out there and like a madman against Gamzatov and then Sam Alves. So the majority of his fights, he is fighting like a complete wild man. And I would expect him to here. I don't see a reason why he'd want to kind of stick at range with Brundage and play patty cake with him. It just wouldn't make much sense. And see these crazy judges give all 3 rounds to either guy. Yeah, I'm afraid to bet split decision. Nothing would shock me here with these judges. I hit the Bobby Green split decision the moment it opened. Yeah, I think it's around plus 1,000, right? Because you don't bet women's MMA anymore. That's where most of the splits are. No, I have bet a lot of splits. I bet an Angela Hill split decision prop. It didn't hit. I bet the Joanna Zhang Li split decision prop. That fight finished. So, and then I think there's one more where I'm betting the split prop and it just didn't hit. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you're right. UFC robbery of the week fight. Yeah, absolutely. Bobby Green puts up more volume, but since he doesn't finish Drew, judges give the fight to Drew. Wouldn't be surprised. Yep. And the judges hate Bobby Green as well, which is something to also mention. The judges absolutely hate Bobby Green. He's been robbed so much. James Lynch is heavily on Brundage here. Really? There we go. I mean, he has a path. Green is going to get knocked down in each round and still get robbed. You think Green's going to get a knockdown? Ooh, I'd be shocked if he knocked down Drew Dober. Dang, I can't read that, man. Green has a habit of doing just not enough. He does a lot, though. I mean, the guy's volume is wild. I don't know what more he could do. I think it's just because he's landing a lot of volume, just not a ton of power behind the shots, Plus 1,000 for that split prop. Yeah, I think it's live. I think both guys' split props are live. Okay, we'll keep moving on. We have Julian Arosa going against Alex Caceres. I do have a bet here, so I was going to take a shot at the Arosa inside the distance prop. It's around like plus 200, but I took the safer route with the fight doesn't give the decision. I think if there is a finish in this fight, it is more likely from the Arosa side here, but just Arosa being so defensively irresponsible, 48% strike and defense, him being knocked out a ton. I know Caceres doesn't have a lot of power. Just to be safe, though, I did take the fight doesn't give the decision, but yeah, I think Arosa finishes Caceres here. I think he breaks him, uses that cardio, that pressure, that pace as a weapon. I think Arosa has really solid power, a slick submission game, and Caceres has been finished 8 times, 7 by submission. And I could see Arosa definitely finding a sub here, a club and sub. I think he's going to put it on Caceres as the fight goes on. So yeah, I like Arosa here a decent amount. The only thing that concerns me though is when you bet Arosa, you typically want to bet him as a dog. And that's because he's never a favorite ever. I think like only one other time he's been a favorite in the UFC. Other than that, he's an underdog. And this time around, he is not an underdog. He's a decent size favorite. But yeah, I like Arosa here. I think he does break Caceres. Heard an interview with him. I think he predicted like a second, third round finish himself. And that's kind of where I'm leaning. I think he does eventually find whether it's a club and sub, whether he does get the fight down to the mat, get a submission here. But give me the fight, doesn't go to decision. I got it at plus 130. It has moved a tad. I think it's like plus 115. That's kind of how I'm attacking it, but I don't hate the shot on like the Arosa inside the distance prop, because I would be a little surprised if Caceres did finish him, but Arosa has been finished a ton. So from a DraftKings perspective, I like Arosa a lot. I love the volume. I love the finishing ability, potential takedowns. As far as Caceres, just not going to get there. So not going to play any Caceres, but I will be playing some Julian Arosa and a decent amount of Julian Arosa as well. Brady, you got to have it Gianni as a guest in 2023. Yeah, potentially maybe get him on like a best bet. That'd be cool. Arosa inside the distance. I like Arosa round 2 sub. I'm predicting the same thing, Mushroom. I think like a late sub for Julian Arosa, late round 2. Caceres by violence. There you go. Yeah, 5-1. Hey, Arosa's going to be there to be hit. I mean, Arosa blocks punches with his face. Caceres doesn't have the most power in the world, but Arosa's been finished a lot. So, Dan is on the violence to plus 125. I'm right there with you, Dan. Who you got in the Tsarukyan fight? Hey, we're going to talk about that very soon. Very soon. Probably another split draw decision on this one, on the Arosa Caceres fight. I don't know. So you got I got Arosa. I got Arosa to find the finish here. Tough week for DK because everyone's on the same dogs. Cannoneer Green, yeah, Cannoneer Green, Battle. Those dogs are really sticking out in DK. But I do have a lot of like the lower guys. I think a lot of these lower guys could be live as well, down low. Rosa by sub right there with you. Albazi inside the distance. We're talking about that right now. All right. Grusin saying, what do you think about the Focardinov by 3rd round or decision? Yeah, if you like Focardinov, that's how I play it. I don't think he finishes battle, but I am on the other side myself. All right. Albazi Costa, yeah, not much to say here as well. The thing is, I like Costa a lot. I think he's a very good fighter. He's only 26 years old. He's a BJJ black belt, really good grappler, tons of power for the division. It's just he's going against Amir Albazi, and he's going against him on short notice. So it's a very tough ask. So I think Costa actually has some solid upside in the division. I think he takes care of some of these lower level guys. Like I would like to see him fight like a Francisco Figueiredo. I'd like to see him fight like a Malcolm Gordon, like some guys like these. I think he can get some wins in the division. It's just Albazi on short notice. It's probably not going to happen at this time around. So I like Albazi to win the fight. No hot take here. He's a big favorite. I wouldn't parlay the guy or nothing, but he should win this fight. I could see a potential late finish for Albazi as well, but nothing's really sticking out. The fight doesn't go to decisions, pretty juiced for a flyweight fight. Just the fight I'm going to stay away from. From a DraftKings perspective, that's kind of where I'll get my exposure here to Albazi, 9,600, takedown upside, potential late finish upside. That's kind of where I'm going to be for that one. So yeah, I do like Albazi, but I do like him on DraftKings, not really from a betting perspective. So yeah, give me Albazi for the win here. Albazi, decision plus 220. There's no evidence that his opponent is fragile. Yeah, Costa's not fragile at all. He's very tough. BJJ black belt. And but it could be 100% wrong. I don't know. Like Albazi submitted like 2 black belts already. He submitted Malcolm Gordon, and then he submitted Francisco Figueiredo. So that would be the kind of one thing that would worry me. But yeah, Costa is a black belt. He's a good grappler, but I don't know if it's going to matter. Albazi arguably has 3 wins against the 3 worst guys in the division, so I want to see just how good Albazi is. That's a good point. He has fought some very bad guys, like very bad. Malcolm Gordon, Ismagulov, who I think is retired from MMA, if I'm not mistaken. And then obviously the Francisco Figueiredo. I think Ismagulov is live. Yeah, I could see that. Albazi parlay piece here. He's a big favorite. I mean, minus 450. I don't know if that's going to do much to your parlay, but he's probably the safest guy on the card. What's up, Vince? How you doing? Costa stays in shape all year long. It sure does look like it, huh? Prediction Shark saying Costa by sub. Big prediction there. How bad is Malcolm Gordon really after the Micaiah fight? The fight that he got 30-27 in? I don't know. I think it was more so Mikhaev maybe being a little overrated potentially. I don't know. Oh, and never mind. It was actually a late finish for Mikhaev. Yeah, I agree. Like more like how overrated was Mikhaev. Yeah, terrible performance from Mikhaev in my opinion. All right, a couple more fights here. We have Arman Tsarukyan going against Damir Ismagulov. Close fight. Another fight where I'm just going to sit back and watch this one. We have Tsarukyan as a pretty decent sized favorite. I think he's like minus 200 now. Yeah, I think he's minus. Oh, money came back in on Damir. So he went to minus 205, and he's now minus 185 as Tsarukyan. I think it could be a close fight. I mean, there's a lot of question marks for me. Like, how good is Damir Ismagulov's takedown defense? On paper, it's 90%, but it's 90% against who? Right? Like Thiago Moises, guys like that, Rafael Alves. Arman Tsarukyan is a phenomenal wrestler. I'm curious to see if he is going to be able to take down Ismagulov, and curious to see if he's going to be able to hold him down as well. On the feet, I think you have to favor Ismagulov, but Tsarukyan does carry the more power in this matchup. I think it's going to be competitive. Like, this is another potential split decision fight for me, but I'm not betting this fight. From a DraftKings perspective, not going to touch Ismagulov. I think if he wins, it's probably a decision. I don't see him taking down Tsarukyan. I don't see him finishing Tsarukyan. So just kind of Xing out Ismagulov. And then Tsarukyan, that's kind of where, he has more upside there with potential wrestling. If there's a finish in this fight, it is going to be from the Tsarukyan side. But yeah, it's a phenomenal fight. It's probably the best fight on the entire card, honestly. But it's a fight where just nothing's really sticking out from a betting perspective. As far as a pick, I'll take Tsarukyan ever so slightly, but not a ton of confidence in that whatsoever. Ismagulov by decision. Yeah, if you like Ismagulov, you got to like that decision prop. He's not finishing anybody. I think Focardinov just controls battle on the ground. One of the safest bets, in my opinion. Just ragdolled his last opponent. His last opponent was horrible, though. I mean, there's a big difference, but I see what you're saying. I think he could do that to battle as well. But Michailidis is just awful. Terrible cardio. Probably a good fight to stay away from on DK. I don't think Arman lands a lot of takedowns, and I don't think there's a finish. Highly technical kickboxing match, probably, and I could see that as well. Can't get a read on this one. Gonna pass. Nothing wrong with that. We got Victor in the chat. What is up, Victor? Saying, what's up, Brady in chat? Super late to the live, but I'll watch replay once we're done. What is up, Victor? How you doing, buddy? Prediction saying, bet the draw. Bet the draw. Okay. Arman might be the best 3-round lightweight in the division. The guy's a beast, man. But so is Ismagulov, right? It's going to be a good fight. Ismagulov has a weird tick with his eye while he fights. Yeah, I noticed that in the Alves fight. I was like, is this dude all right? But I think that's just what he does. You got the draw, Dan, at 81-1 for real. There was a draw last week, right? Yeah, there's a draw with that main event. It could happen. Jake Matthews, a Rosa parlay, not for me, but I think that hits. Who you got on the side? Nurmagomedov fight. I have Kochergin to pull off. It's not even an upset anymore. He's now the favorite. I have Kochergin to win. All right, main event time. Sean Strickland going against Jared Cannonier. Decent main event to end the year here. I do have a bet on this fight. I see a lot of people are on that. That scorecard's no action for Cannonier, and I'm on it myself. It actually opened up at minus 120. Completely missed it for some reason. I don't know what I was doing. But I was able to get in eventually at minus 138. The line has moved to like minus 150 something on FanDuel. But yeah, I like the finish only here for Cannonier. I think if there's a finish in this fight, it is going to come from the Cannonier side. I think it's at least more likely to happen than the minus 138 does indicate there. I think if Sean Strickland does win this fight, it's because he was able to outpoint Cannonier, outland him across 5 rounds. And I think if Cannonier wins this fight, it's because he catches Sean Strickland. Man, I don't know what's wrong with Sean. Something's wrong with Sean Strickland. Like his interviews they used to be funny, but now it's getting like, I don't know. Like I'm concerned about the guy nowadays. But he was talking about how he doesn't have a game plan in this fight. And he's talking about how he's going to just walk forward, stand in the middle and trade with Jared Cannonier, which I find very interesting because that's not really something you should do. So yeah, Cannonier is going to get plenty of opportunities here to find that knockout. Cannonier has struggled with strikers in the past, but he's struggling against guys like Robert Whittaker. He's struggling with guys like Israel Adesanya, whereas Sean Strickland is going to fight nothing like Robert Whittaker or Adesanya. He's going to walk forward and stand in the middle and strike with this guy, right? So I think Cannonier is going to have 25 minutes to land a big shot. If he does, he gets the knockout. If not, Sean Strickland probably gets a decision win here. So I'm playing the scorecards, no action, the finish only, 1 unit, minus 138. From a DraftKings perspective, don't mind both sides. Cannonier, especially at 7,700. It's now a pick 'em, so we're getting some nice value there on DK. And then he has all the finish upside, in my opinion. And then Sean Strickland, if he wins, probably a 5-round decision, no takedowns, with a lot of volume, which I still think Sean Strickland in a 5-round decision could score well as well. But I am mostly on the Cannonier side. But I do have a lot of the main event this week. Killer Gorilla says ammo. Cannonier inside the distance. I'm leaning that way as well. Jared KO. First main event I'm going to pass this year. Wow. I passed on the main event last week. I do have a bet on this one, though. Would be great to see Strickland get body one more time before the year. I agree. Pereira changed that, man. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing in that Pereira fight. Just a wild game plan. And that's always been Strickland's game plan. Walk forward and punch. You are not wrong. Strickland is overrated, but liking Cannonier, but not confident. Wait, what? Jared, round 2 KO. Sean by decision all day. I think that's how he wins. You got to be elusive to beat Cannonier. I agree. Like a Whitaker, like a Adesanya, and Strickland is not that elusive. Strickland looks good against guys like Marshman. Yeah, he did. That is for sure. Strickland, stuck in the mud, is going to get flatline one more time. I hope so. Mushroom says, great show, Brady. As usual, appreciate you, Mushroom. Brady, thank you, Prediction Shark, for hanging out. Strickland's just trolling, saying that he'll still do it, though. I agree with both. He is probably trolling, but he is going to do that. But yeah, guys, we did it. I'm going to quickly go through my action for the card. Not a huge card to end the year, but don't mind some of the spots I have this week. I have the fight doesn't go in the Matthew Semelsberger fight, half a unit plus 150. Half a unit for the fight doesn't go in the Arosa Caceres fight plus 130. I have the under 1.5 rounds Oleksiejczuk Brundage 1 unit minus 115. The Brundage Oleksiejczuk fight does not start round 3, 1 unit minus 170. I have the Cannonier scorecards equals no action, 1 unit minus 138. The Battle scorecards no action, half a unit plus 184. Dober Green fight ends in split decision, quarter unit plus 500. Bobby Green wins by decision, quarter unit plus 230. And the Manel Kopp wins inside the distance, half a unit plus 145. I do want to thank all of you guys for hanging out here on a Friday, the last live stream of the year. It's been a great year, good winning year. I think I was up like 25, 26 units this year. Learned a lot. Most importantly, learned a lot this year, improved a lot. So I'm looking forward to carrying that momentum into 2023 and hoping 2023 can be an even better year. But yeah, learning for me is most important. So yeah, I appreciate all the support week in and week out, all the likes, all the subs. You guys do mean a lot. And yeah, one last goodbye to the chat. So my betting breakdown video is going to be posted in about 20 or so minutes. And then after that, no content for me until 2023. So yeah, going to work on some things, going to improve some things, going to bring some new videos into the new year. But yeah, looking forward to 2023, guys. Tess saying, thanks for a good year. Appreciate you. I think Jared is going to KO Sean. Did you see the weigh-ins? He said he feel terrible going up the division. Yeah, I think he was just trolling, though, at the weigh-ins. Andy's saying, see you, Brady. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Yeah, happy holidays, guys. I got Jared by knockout. I believe I said that a couple times. But yeah, I have Jared by knockout. We'll have some big wins in 2023. Looking forward to the future. Yes, sir. We got John in the chat saying, thank you, Brady. 2023 is going to be an awesome year for us. Yes, sir. Mushroom, no shout out, Brady. Mushroom, I'm always shouting you out, and I must have missed your comment. The chat is wrong, but yeah, shout out to Mushroom, the lunch king himself. Just Jeff saying, happy New Year, Brady. Thanks for the content this year. Thank you. Just Jeff, thanks for the great year, Brady. Good luck, boys. Good luck to you as well. Appreciate you, Rob. Great show. Appreciate it, Prince of Mischief. We got Victor in the chat. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, Victor. Appreciate you, Ace. Glad you didn't have those 90s style graphics anymore. If you know, you know. Talking about like when I first started a couple years ago. Yeah, fixed that up a little bit. We got Mills in the chat. What is that, Mills? How you doing? All right, guys. Best of luck. You can hit me up on Twitter if you'd like. DFS_numbers. Instagram DFS by the numbers. Don't know how active I will be tomorrow, but yeah, should be a good card. Should be a good way to end 2022. Best of luck, guys. Let's make some money. We'll talk to you guys next year. See you guys later.